Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to season 1, episode 20. Mr. Nick came in while we were doing the countdown.
I'm sorry.
He is just determined to make me, I wouldn't say pull out my hair, but I can't do that. He is just determined to give me a heart attack.
Yeah, I apologize, Nikki, but
That's
I made
right.
it in time. I was like, oh, yeah, the countdown's live. I better get over here.
Yeah.
I gotta stop accepting these last minute invites of meetings right before this session. So I apologize about that.
I would say, Nick, that's why we do the 15-minute start so that you can block that out. But no, you love to make me nervous. You love to make me nervous.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll do better next time.
I'll forgive you. The beatings at Explore will be severe.
Yeah,
we'll beat you until you start getting up on time. So, was it a good meeting? Was it?
Yeah, that's a good meeting. It's just
that's way convincing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah, good meeting.
Excellent. All right.
Okay. Well, yeah. Let's move on from that topic, I guess. Yeah. So, you're back this week. What did we do last week?
You did the Gen AI install with Tim, man. That was
yeah. Yeah. So
I got to watch it while I was sitting in an airport living the CrowdStrike disaster.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. Trying to come back from Maryland and got hit with the CrowdStrike things. But hey, with all that time in the airport, I got to catch up on you and Tim's show, and it was a good show, man.
Yeah, well, at least you made it back. Yeah, that's I'm still seeing pictures of things that people doing manual BitLocker recovery on systems, and I'm like, I'm really glad I'm not in the PC support business these days anymore. But
that was one of the funniest gifts that I've seen from all of this, right? Is okay, all you got to do is go into safe mode and log in and delete this file. And then it's like, BitLocker, please enter your, 4,000 digit passcode.
Yeah. It's like times millions of machines.
Yeah.
But hey,
it's an easy recovery as long as you remember that password. It's just,
I would imagine some folks just started re-imaging machines would be faster.
I imagine you're probably right.
Yeah.
I do think that when we have our next session with DMZ, right? Because we didn't get impacted. If you were running stuff on TAS, you didn't get impacted by that. So I think we're going to have DMZ talk to that a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's a good topic.
Another feather in our cap.
Yeah. Maybe we'll wait a few weeks to hopefully get all those PCs back online first. But
we don't want to pour salt in the wound. If you only would have used Cloud Foundry, you wouldn't have had this problem. We don't want to hurt people's feelings. But I was talking to Mia about this, who we're fixing to bring online, and she was like, "Hey, it didn't impact TAS." I was like, "Because we're awesome, right? You can't."
Yeah.
I mean, let's take credit where credit is due. So, Speaking of which, you want to do some introductions? I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. So we have a special guest today. We'll bring Mia on stage here. But Mia works with me in the Tanzu marketing, I guess, department. What do we call ourselves these days? So Mia is the product marketing manager engineer for Tanzu Platform for Cloud Foundry. I'm officially the tech marketing side. So we have both sides of the house in today. So there's been a report that Mia's been working on with actually our customers and an analyst firm, maybe.
I don't know if that's Enterprise Strategy Group.
Yes. Yeah. To talk about TCO and things about Cloud Foundry and Tanzu Platform, and I thought that would be a pretty good topic because I know. Since converting from customer to I guess vendor side of the house, we've definitely got a lot of questions, directly about people just trying to essentially, keep track of all the work they've done from the total value, all right? Because we've kind of reached this point where Cloud Foundry, Tanzu Platform for Cloud Foundry, is this pillar of things working, and kind of as we alluded with Cote. Maybe taken for granted to some degree about all the value it's delivered, or you may have the currents where you might bring you have maybe some new. You're a platform team, but you have some new executive management coming in that missed all the app modernization journey, and now you just have this platform running all these apps type of thing. So maybe help remind everyone there. And I did so on Monday. we had a pretty massive water main break in my area, like a cascading effect of like a main line then broke and then broke multiple lines. So didn't have water for a couple of days. So was also reminded of the fact of the whole utility service level thing. Of just man, I'm just used to the water coming out of the faucet when I turned it on. And when you lose
Cloud Foundry can't get you water, Nick. It can do a lot of things, but it can't get water in your house.
Yes, but it's very so. I guess I wanted to make the analogy similar to the power company when you just don't even think about all the work that it does to get to something so reliable, until it's not working or until it's gone, type of thing.
I can't wait to hear this. We've been telling everybody how awesome, Cloud Foundry is and what it does. And I think, Nick, you bring up a good point. People are still asking, we got new guys coming in. What is Cloud Foundry? Why do they not know about it? Well, because it never breaks, right? It just keeps working. So I am extremely interested to be able to put some numbers around this and be able to talk hard figures with people. So I'm excited about what you got to tell us, Mia.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on the show, guys. And Nick, I love that analogy because, you don't think about all the components that go into, running water, just like something basic as that. And when it does break, when it does stop working, it's like, oh, I relied on this one big, like massive platform, quote unquote, to help like my apps just work. And that's really like where Cloud Foundry's bread and butter is. So yeah, I'm really excited to dive into the Enterprise Strategy Group report that is now live. Anyone can go and download it on their own and read it. We have a lot of great content coming up around it too. So excited to dive deeper into what our customers have been able to share with us about why Tanzu Platform just continues to keep working for them and why they keep coming back to it year after year.
All right, I am. If anyone live wants to follow along, I guess we'll post the link in the chat.
Yeah.
To the report.
Oh, you beat me to it. I was sending private chat. You got the link. I'll throw it up on the banner.
Oh, sorry.
As well.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah. So that report is out. And I guess too, we didn't prep you for this, but we're always really bad at forgetting our first question. And
oh, we are. Good God! And I even told her we were going to do this.
Nikki already filled me in.
Yeah. So I guess as we try to ask everyone, and usually forget halfway through. Do you remember what your first CF push experience was, or your first interaction with Cloud Foundry?
Yeah, it was actually when I started at Tanzu about a year ago. I've been at VMware for about 4 years now, and joined the team last year, right before Explore was about to start. And onboarding with you, Nick, you were doing a ton of training with me. So was Elizabeth Morris. And I remember hearing about how Bosch is like this magic wand that just makes the platform work. And I was like, whoa, this is like so different compared to like what our competitors are doing. And yeah, that was really like my first instance. And then since then, become an expert in all things Cloud Foundry, both open source and our enterprise offering. So it's been really cool to see it kind of mature over this past year and really get more exposure and awards and recognition like it deserves. So we're really excited now that we're, right at the next year, right before Explore is kicked off again, see like all the cool and innovative things that we're continuing to build in it.
Awesome. All right.
Sorry, I'm typing stuff in.
Okay.
I'm typing stuff as we're doing, so don't mean to sound like I'm not paying attention, but trying to get some of these links so we can put them into banners and put them into the show notes.
Yes. All right. How do we? I guess if I would have prepped more for this, I would know. But how do we want to deep dive into this topic here? Because I have the report, up, or like Mia, did you have like something you wanted to highlight first, and we maybe kind of go from there, type of thing?
Yeah, I think to start, what the main arguments are around, why customers are considering, do I build my own platform, like a DIY platform, or do I just, go with an enterprise offering that's kind of like an all-encompassing, rolled-up offering? So I really think, starting at what is the gist of why customers are deciding between one or the other might be a really cool place to start, because that's really where the sticky points and like the pain points are with most of our customers deciding between one or the other.
So the buy versus build argument.
Yep.
Chris?
Yeah, I can't wait to get into that. Y'all have probably heard my Apple versus Android. We've come up with a new one based on my history, which, maybe we'll get into later, which is Xbox versus gaming PC, right? And how that analogy comes across for, TaaS versus build your own. But we'll get into that later. I want to see some numbers.
Yeah, definitely. So really what we did in the report was we saw, across all the customers that were interviewed and participated in the report, they were at a point where they were considering either building their own DIY platform, or they have already done it in the past and then moved on to TaaS, or Tanzu Platform for Cloud Foundry, as it's called now. And through that report and the findings, we found that there was 48% faster time to market. So this means that they were able to get their apps up and running even faster, meaning more revenue for the company overall. And through those findings, we saw that there was 16 million annual revenue gained on average for our Tanzu Platform customers. Huge, right? Like bottom dollar, that's amazing. If you can get to market faster, you can build more apps, your developers can work more efficiently. It's great for everybody. Another finding was there was also 30% fewer development hours for development teams. And this then aided into like $53 million annually saved by having those developers focus more on writing code more efficiently and, less on administrative tasks and things like that. So overall, less development hours spent. And then that meant there was also less administrative tasks. So we saw that there was like 70% less administrative tasks when customers use Tanzu Platform compared to a DIY environment. Because when you're working in a DIY environment, your development team and platform engineering teams have to do all of those administrative tasks. They have to handle all those components. So overall, the customers were saving like $12 million annually by having to do less of those administrative tasks, because Tanzu Platform did all of that for you within the one single offering.
And this is something that we talk about here quite a bit, right? So, it's important to get those numbers out. And we'll, for everybody that's watching, we're going to put these in the show notes. You can link to the report. You can take a look at these yourself. But it's one of those considerations that's hard to really put numbers on. Or I won't say it's not hard to put numbers on, but it's difficult for people to kind of wrap their mind around of, well, they see licensing costs. Well, this seems expensive, or well, this is what it takes. But they're not realizing all these soft costs. Right. If you've got 100 developers and your developers are, let's say they're making, 75,000 to 125,000 a year, you start taking hours and minutes of time that they're spending doing stuff. That adds up really quick. Those are these soft costs that people don't realize. When you look at things, especially like time to market, if you're having to spend a month to get a database up and running versus 15 minutes on TaaS, you're able to get your product out there that much quicker. Or a bug comes up, you're able to fix that bug ahead of your competition. And let's be honest, it's those things. People are going to go to the apps that are most up to date, the apps that are coming out with the newest features quicker. Those are the apps that are going to be sticky. And, while everybody realizes that, they don't really correlate that back to the platform and how it helps them do that and what those costs end up being for them, right? It's hard to... They're just looking at numbers. They're not looking at savings. And that's something that I think this report is really trying to push out, is there's a lot of savings that comes with the platform.
Yeah, definitely. And what we also are seeing with Gen AI really being a big part of the push with leadership, like, we need to jump on this bandwagon and get Gen AI apps running in our platform too. Like, you don't have 6 months or a year to build a DIY platform. You have to get it up and running now. So if you're trying to deploy and build Gen AI apps, like, you need a platform that you can stand those apps up on immediately. And that's what you could do in Tanzu Platform. So another good point there.
Yeah, I mean, you look at... Oh, go ahead. I know this is your favorite topic, Nick.
No, it's like, yeah, like a nice plug on the Gen AI piece there. But what I love most about this report is that this was the ESG group, right, interviewed actual Tanzu customers. So this is data from our customers, right? Like this isn't our data. This is what our customers said about us. So I think I guess to kind of prove some of the things that we've seen, as I think Nikki and I were both previous customers. It was, we can kind of share some of our anecdotes, but it's not quite the same when we have a third party interview customers and then do the math per se and then generate this in this official type of form. So I think that's great to see that be an asset and be a data point for everyone who is maybe not necessarily even thinking about it or trying to I would say maybe even defend their own platform because time comes and goes and there are new shiny things popping up and then like a thing that's been well established every now and then needs to keep making sure that they're still they prove their own value, so to speak, I guess. And I think this should help them tremendously.
Well, and I think you bring up a good point there, right? So internal marketing, again, this is a product that just works. You don't really hear about it. And, when you don't hear about things, they tend to fall off your thought processes. A report like this is something that
did he freeze for you too?
Yep. He freezes on my end. Oh, he's back.
He's back. All right.
So as I was saying, I kind of hope that this report actually goes and causes teams, platform engineer teams, to say, what do our numbers look like, right? Again, when you're talking to your leadership, if they never hear anything, they kind of forget about things that are working for them. This is a chance to go in and kind of do some internal evangelization of your platform and say, hey, here's the numbers that are being put up from other customers. Here's what our numbers look like. And I encourage people that use the platform to kind of take this and go internally and take a look at it. And I think you're going to be surprised by what you get. And as always, if you need help, come talk to us. We'll be happy to kind of help you do some of that stuff from that standpoint. But, people are going to be surprised if they really start looking into this.
Yeah. And to the point of platform engineering teams, another finding from the report was that the average developer to platform engineer ratio is 200 devs to one platform engineer on average with Tanzu Platform across our customers. If you're looking at customers that are doing their own DIY platform, that could be, 2 times, 3 times that rate. So you're seeing that, leadership doesn't have to hire as many developers to manage a platform. Platform engineers are managing less developers in general, saving all that money and time and energy into building out those additional teams when you're having to manage all those different components across different platforms. So that's really something that has popped out to a lot of our customers and has really enticed them to stay on the platform because they're not having to go out and hire more of these folks. They're able to keep their apps running on the Tanzu platform without having to, hire additional folks.
Yep. The do more with less. I mean, Nick, you saw this when you were a customer. I saw it when I was a customer. Yeah. We're seeing it throughout the industry today. Everybody's being asked to do more with less. And they're really, again, I'm going to sound, like a broken record. There is no better platform, in my opinion, than Cloud Foundry to help you do that because it takes care of so much for you.
Yeah. And we have that developer platform engineer ratio, like 200 to 1 in there. But again, that I think that is our average. But we've seen, I have heard stories from customers. I've seen it myself be way, way more than that too. So
4x that.
Yeah. So I mean, that's something that is, I think, one of the, and I think two people who haven't experienced this level of efficiency just don't even know it's possible, I guess. Right. Because I've seen other platforms and other DIY, I'm going to build this I'm going to build everything from scratch. Let's just say a full DIY Kubernetes platform. I'm going to just consume everything open source. I'm going to wire it all together. I've seen teams personally just be, well more than that even for like one line of business type of thing versus having a small handful of folks manage the entire enterprise. So I guess I can't highlight that metric enough to be honest, because I think that is where then too a lot of those numbers come into play. Because if you trying to tease that out, and then you have like the whole multi-tenancy aspect too, that there's very few things that I've seen really have that concept of like the that true multi-tenant PaaS layer, where I mean you look at some of these cloud native solutions, it's like it may be you get locked into like a subscription or a resource group or something, and that's a single tenant type construct. So it's like, well, you could rebuild something in let's say a public cloud, but then to try to scale that out in a multi-tenant way, you get into another weird scenario where then it's like, oh well, now I need like 200 resource groups, or maybe it's by the subscription. So like, how do I do app dev multi-tenancy there? Like I lose the concept of a centralized platform. And yeah, it may be a SaaS type solution, but now I need like 500 of them. And then you have this like maybe a COE spin up to manage all these, cloud things you're spinning up that are quote unquote free. And then, things kind of fall out, that's not even really talking about the platform. It's just the governance of deploying the thing on the cloud versus the actual platform per se. But I may have went on a diatribe there and got lost, but
hey, it's what we do.
Yeah.
What we do.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, we're talking about efficiencies. We're talking about, engineer to dev ratios. I honestly, I haven't had a chance to look at the report yet. So, I need to do that. But does anything go in there about the efficiency and the security aspect of this? When we look at, some of the past things, Log4j, we're talking about CrowdStrike, the biggest IT event in history right now going on, and patching those things. That's a whole other aspect of, I've got, 1,000 instances of apps running out there, and I can patch all of them in one go. Mm-hmm. There's an efficiency part of that, but there's also a time to security. There's a risk mitigation factor that comes with the platform as well. Do we go into that in the report?
Yeah, I was going to say there's a whole section just about how security and governance overall improved across customers that decided to implement Tanzu Platform. There was a stat that before using Tanzu Platform, only 25% of apps were patched. When they shifted over to Tanzu Platform, it turned up to 90. So that's huge uptick. And it used to take, months for apps to get patched. Now it's down to like days to weeks. So, that's great news for security teams that, based on the latest events that have happened with, even CrowdStrike, like, this is great news for these customers that could sleep well at night knowing that they don't have to worry about that. And the amount of security incidents overall have also went down. I think they reported a 38% reduction in security incidents. So there's just like so much automation within the platform that these teams don't have to even think about it. Like the certs automatically get rotated, things like that. It's just like an all-in-one like magic platform, I like to think of it as.
Yeah. My favorite quote from the improved security and governance section, page 8, is patching is now a no-brainer. It is fully automated. It gets done within a week. It used to take us 3 months.
Yep.
I don't know. Customer. It doesn't reference who said that,
yeah.
but
they're all
said
anonymous.
That. Yes, yeah. An anonymous, great Tanzu customer. Thank you, whoever said that. But yes, I mean, yeah, the concept of repave patching, the potentially mitigating something like CrowdStrike, where you could just repave your environment. I think that's a huge, and also probably something that's probably not too talked about a lot, right? Like once you adopt something like this, it just becomes like a de facto standard. But it becomes very evident when you try to do something that does not, like once you get to a certain level and then you're like, oh, maybe we do this. Well, what about all these things they used to do? Now you have to do them manually. Oh, sad. Sadness all around type of thing. Yeah.
We had a customer that we were talking to, and they are a Cloud Foundry customer, but they were looking, hey, we want to play in Kubernetes. It's the new shiny. Everything needs to get in there. We're going to just turn all these things into containers. It'll be so easy. And that was the first question I asked them. Okay, another Log4j hits. How are you patching all of those containers? Well, we'll put it on the devs. Okay. Well, let me ask you a question. How well does that work for you in the past, right? Hey, devs, you need to go patch this stuff up for something you can't see, and you need to mitigate this, even with security breathing down your throat. They quickly learned, okay, we're going to have to go into every container and patch that thing. This isn't scalable, right? Versus they were like, well, we just kind of assumed, to your point, Nick, well, we just kind of assumed we could find a way to do this like we do on Cloud Foundry today. Well, that's one of the value adds of Cloud Foundry is it does stuff that other places don't. And one of those is patching, and kind of going on the commercial side of this, we've got products like telemetry where we're actually being proactive and telling you what CVs are out there and when they're getting fixed and what you need to do to go in and update those. It's quick diatribe on telemetry is a lot of customers thought that, hey, well, this is just something so that you know how much to charge me. No, we can sit down and I can take you through the telemetry report. When I was a customer, it was my most used aspect of the foundation because I kept security off my back by being able to say, hey, I know these 5 things are there and here's my plan to fix them. I already know what to upgrade to do it. Here's my timeline to do it. It got to the point where I never heard from security, and that's unheard of in most corporations, where they just trusted that I was going to take care of it because I was proactive and I was able to do that with some of the stuff that we put out on the platform.
Yeah. I think that goes, along the themes of our customers have more business resiliency by using Tanzu Platform. One of the quotes in the report says, because Tanzu is so cost effective and time effective, we have been able to drive more thought and resources into what if planning to help us in the event of business disruption. So they're spending less time wondering like what's going to happen if our systems go down, and more like, maybe we can now, think more about like that leadership and things that we could spend like more of our time and energy doing, and don't have to worry about, do we have enough team members to help patch this if the worst case scenario happens. So yeah, the proof is in the pudding there.
Yep.
And I guess not to bring up I got one more security thing as a real life example about patching.
You almost sound like you're embarrassed to say anything. Bring it up.
I was like, we're gonna really hit this home here. But the Spectre meltdown scenario. If I guess do I date myself? And I don't know. It feels like forever ago now, but not that long ago. I think it was before COVID. Maybe that's how I think of things now. The time, right? Maybe in the late 2018, 2019. I should Google when that was, but. I remember, being a platform engineer, getting that. I'm like, oh, new stem cell. Let's push it out. Done.
Yep.
And a lot of my peers, we got to manually patch every machine now. And it's like, how do we do that? Well, depending on the OS, it was quite some time, right? There was no no just automated, just rebuild everything and we're done. And very much to that security thing of like, well, don't worry about those Cloud Foundry guys because they've already patched it all. But everyone else, it's like we're going through line by line of each virtual machine to see its status and that type of thing. So I guess that kind of holds time throughout the years. I guess it's still a very powerful tool.
Yeah, because you must have had to spend hours just doing that, Nick. So I mean, you could have spent your time doing better things than that. So,
but for me, it was easy because we could just roll it out with Bosch. But watching my colleagues in the other parts of non-Bosch powered VMs, let's say, they had not so good of time.
Right.
Well, I mean, let's be clear. I mean, I want to be honest here. Patching these things, patching hundreds of thousands of apps, or thousands of apps, still takes time on tasks. But the difference in time is, am I sitting there and actively doing things on the keyboard, or do I just hit one button and watch for it to go through? Right. That's the real difference here. Is it still takes time, but the amount of effort and the amount of people that have to, participate in that time is huge. And the same thing goes for HA, right? That's, yes, we have backup and recovery. We've got plans for that, but what's your nuclear option? I change my DNS to point to another data center and I scale all my apps up, right? That is another way that you just, make sure that you got continuity while you're fixing it if something happens. But with the self-healing nature of TaaS and Cloud Foundry, I need to quit saying TaaS. You marketing guys are going to beat me if I don't get the naming right because we changed it. I just got over saying PCF. Now
just go
finally
back
got into
and
TAS.
go back and add a T in the front.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm going to put this in the comments because I am doing my best to trademark this.
It's
the
hard
little
for
T,
us all.
PCF.
Yeah.
So we got a question from Findsy. It's always good to have Findsy on here, but did customers articulate value derived from their Cloud Foundry services marketplaces?
Oh,
it's a good question.
Good question.
I'm looking through it now. I
So
see here.
Yeah, I think so. This report didn't fully encompass like the whole marketplace aspect of it all. Now, data services is pretty integral to Tanzu Platform, and with now the Gen AI tile also leveraging Postgres and Spring AI, like that's another piece of the puzzle of how it's really showing like even more impact now, and how we're really like driving home how much data is now integrated with Tanzu Platform. With the latest announcement of Tanzu Platform, you can now purchase your SIs as part of the AI package, just as a heads up to all customers. But this report didn't really delve into like the whole marketplace piece of it, just as like an FYI.
Well, I know we can speak to this, and I know Findsy good enough to know that this was a loaded question, 100% a loaded question, because we all know, I mean, that's how you steal business away from your IT teams if you're a Cloud Foundry operator. Hey, you want a database, you want a RabbitMQ instance? Sure, you could create a ticket and go wait a month and a half, or you can come to me and I'll have it up for you in 15 minutes. And I'm pretty sure I can see, Mark, he's probably giggling behind the screen right now because he knows exactly that's what he was trying to get to.
Well, I think too, if you look at the report, there's a defined platform scope of what's in the platform, right? And then I think a lot of these concepts, right? And yeah, thanks for that, Mark. But a lot of these concepts are more kind of like generalized. So it's wording assuming like the features within the platform scope help them derive these values, right? Like we save time because we're using this type of thing. At least that's my take on reading it, I guess.
Right.
It's more higher level business speak, I guess. I don't know. I feel like that's something Cote would say. I don't know, but yeah.
Yep. And then we've got Art over here poking a stick in the Kubernetes eyes, right? It's not much info on the web about K8's PE to dev ratios, but most info suggests 1 PE to 5 to 10 devs, with one vendor bragging about getting 1 to 50 on their K8s. So way to go, Art, trying to stir the pot. I love it.
I would the math checks out based on my real world experience. But anyway,
that's right.
Yeah. Where are we at? What are we doing? All right, we're okay. We got some time still.
Next session.
Any more questions? Did we go through all the questions?
Right now, we've got all the questions. We'll get more people.
Perfect.
I'm going to have to. Same thing with Keith Lee. Keith doesn't ask enough questions. You're always on, Keith. You never ask questions. Prepare to be yelled at.
Well, we do appreciate the viewership though, Keith. So thanks for that.
Yeah.
Well, now you're making me feel like a jerk.
No. Okay, I'm trying
to. What other nuggets do we got, Mia?
Let's see. Let's go back to the report. So another big piece is really the shift to more of like a continuous, like a CI/CD model. And this is something that we've also seen in our another report that we did with users and customers, the state of cloud native app platforms that we can also link here too. So this really, like, we're seeing it across the board, but customers are seeing that they're making a shift to more of like that CI/CD model. They are seeing, that apps are just really hard and expensive and too complex to build. So using Tanzu Platform, they can break that up into these more logical groups and increase the amount of releases that they could have, across the year. I think one of the stats is they have been able to go from like 4 releases a year to 90. Huge. That's massive. And then that way they're also able to increase their customer expectations. They can increase and change their business operations with this new model. So yeah, I'd be curious to see like if you have any examples of customers that have also, kind of been in that boat.
Well, I mean, we can going back to the telemetry portion, right? We do capture, some measure of DORA metrics when it comes to the platform. And it's not unusual to see, Cloud Foundry customers doing 10,000 pushes in a foundation in a month, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can show you examples of customers that are doing upwards of 60 or 70,000 pushes in a month in one foundation, and they've got multiple foundations.
Mm-hmm.
I would challenge anybody to show me another platform where you can do that effectively. And again, it goes back to, being able to get first to market when bugs come up, being able to fix those bugs and get them out before anybody else. You've got to have that idea of always doing a constant delivery. Now, one of the bad things about CrowdStrike is all of a sudden, if you're watching LinkedIn and you're looking at some of the tech blogs, people are now saying, we told you constant delivery is a bad idea. This is how things break. That's not true. I don't believe that. I mean, yeah, there needs to be some caution in your constant delivery. You need to have good testing, but we don't want the pendulum to swing too far to the other side. We've been preaching CI/CD. It's a good thing,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, responsibility comes with it. I mean, I'd like to get your take on that, Nick, because I've just seen a lot of people kind of bashing CD here in the last couple days.
You really teed this up for me, Nikki. I love it. So I've seen too, like this, like we may have talked about this concept of like canary deployments or blue-green deployments. And I think part of that, and I guess I didn't really mean for this to be a CrowdStrike episode, but I think that I read somewhere recently, like we're going to start to do canary deployments or blue-green, right? And if you think about, right, or like a phased approach model, right? If you think about what happened, right? It's like they have, they pushed out a release to like, I don't know, millions of machines, like within, hours of, like, sort of used to, I used to work in a large enterprise. I did interface with teams that supported, our desktop deployments where we had, hundreds of thousands of desktops and things. So like we would have like these phased approaches, right? Where it'd be like, division XYZ, gets rolled out, or rolling out to an enterprise. You have some kind of like phase schedule. So like the fact that they were able to just basically push to the world, that's not great. So, and then obviously then cause that, there's some issues there, but then maybe like, hey, I don't know, we're going to do a canary, like we're going to do like 1/10 of our base, or like whatever. And the whole canary in the coal mine, you push to your canary. Did the canary survive? Yes or no? Continue on. Well, in this case, all the canaries died all at once. And yeah, we could totally. So I would say that the CI/CD methodology holds true. If anything, they clearly missed some aspects of that. But yeah, hey, they're sending everybody a $10 gift card to help with their so I don't know. I'm just glad I'm not.
Well, it goes back to testing, right? I mean, again, CI/CD is a good thing. Always be improving your software. To quote Deshaun, right? Always be on the latest and greatest. There's things that are out there when we're talking about, Spring. That CD process is what helps power your business. It helps power the software that you're running. So, why does it not work for applications? Well, it comes down to testing. And clearly there was a miss here on testing. And I agree with you. We don't want this to be a CrowdStrike episode. But, when I do see people start bashing, based on one event, start bashing a whole ideology of how to get applications out there, it's worrisome to me because our, tech pendulums swing and they tend to go extremes. And I'm starting to see that extreme coming because of this incident. No, it's still a good thing, but make sure you test. Have automated testing in place. I'm not smart enough to really understand. I've looked through some of the stuff coming through. I don't know how this wasn't caught in testing. Was this just complacency where, hey, this is an innocuous thing, and well, guess what? We just brought down 3/4 of the world. Test it, right? And the same thing goes for people that are taking software from a SaaS point of view. Don't trust your vendors 100%. I don't expect you to trust us. I don't trust some of the people I work with. Do the phased rollout. Hey, here's a patch. Okay, I'm not going to just automatically take it. Let me roll this out to, like you said, a small percentage and make sure that it works. And when I get comfortable, then I'll roll it out to everything else. But, I think there are some lessons to be learned here, but CI/CD being bad, that ain't one of them.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. If anything, it's examples of how to not have that type of thing happen to you.
Yep.
Yeah, very much.
And to tie this all back into Cloud Foundry, Canary deploys, Blue Green deploys, all part of the platform. Rolling deploys, all part of the platform. In worst case scenario, repave, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of, running a fast platform, another stat is that the customers reported that their apps are running twice as fast as before compared to a DIY platform. And overall, the quality of the application's performance improved overall, like 6,000% increase. So, I mean, when you have to be nimble and agile in today's environment and you don't have the time to be troubleshooting day in and day out, you have to have those high quality apps running on your platform. So it's just really, really great to see like the customers are continuing to benefit time after time. Like as long as, PCF to TaaS to Tanzu Platform for Cloud Foundry now, like the story hasn't changed much. It still works. Our customers are continuing to see like and reap the benefits from running their apps on the platform day in and day out and having like little to no downtime too. That's like a huge part of it too. Like they don't have to worry about the platform going down in the middle of the night. Some of our larger customers that are in the financial industry, they rely on it for credit card transactions too. Like if that goes down, then all their business operations go down. So it's really key to like driving their entire business, and just shows how crucial Tanzu platform is across the board.
Financial transactions, you've got market open, we've got, transportation and trains that depend on this. I mean, it's truly, again, going back to what, if you don't talk about it, nobody really thinks about it. But to think of some of the businesses that are running on Cloud Foundry, it's mind boggling. And, to your point about where we're showing, application performance improving, I think that's two things. And, see if you guys agree or disagree or want to add to this. But the first is, when you take all that administrative task off a developer, and all they've got to do is their job. They're just coding. They don't have to worry about tickets. They don't have to worry about setting up infrastructure. Here's my code. Run it for me. I don't care where, right? That's one aspect. You get better coding when they can concentrate on the job. Second, you get better performance when you get things and features like auto-scaling. When nobody's having to sit there and babysit their application, they're not having to keep their eye on a wartime screen to say, hey, how's my CPU? How's my memory? How's my throughput going? The platform takes care of that and notices, as long as you set your rules right, hey, you're reaching we're going to add more instances for you. That's how you keep your performance up. And same thing, when you're not using it, we're going to lower it. That's how you keep your costs down. These are all benefits of a platform, of a platform as a service that people don't realize and don't think about. It just becomes the norm, to Nick's part. Well, this is just the way things should work. And they don't realize that until they start trying to go and do something different. And then, wow, none of this stuff's there. I mean, what did you see when you were a customer, Nick? I mean, that's one of the reasons we got developers coming to us, was because they didn't have to, work as hard, I should say.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was the, how do we say? If you make what was it? There's a phrase like, if you make the correct path, the secure path, like the path to production easy to use, like the least path of resistance path, also the most secure, the most beneficial path. Like people will like use the least path of resistance to get to production, right? Now, if as you're a platform engineer offering that, if you make your path the least path of resistance, and then also what we find is that I experienced this firsthand, is that you can the whole concept of like this platform engineering, having a very powerful platform like Tanzu Platform, you can make that least path to production, least path of resistance, the best path, right? Where oh, I can get to prod in a matter of minutes. And then also like I've just got security checkbox because the platform team has worked with all the security teams, has gotten the blessing of like, the CISO, or gotten the blessing of all, like they've already figured out all the regulatory zones. Perhaps if I need to go to, let's say a PCI zone or some kind of other regulatory zone, that's all kind of mapped out. There's a guidebook of how to achieve that. And I can just like, go down that path and get onboarded. And I don't have to figure anything out. Like the infrastructure, the platform is all just taken care of. Like, yeah, people are going to just like, they're going to go to there because at the end of the day, no matter, you might still have a subset of developers who want to play with things and build things that are unrelated to business logic. I find that, 90 or 95% of most devs just want to get in there, do the tasks that they've been assigned to do, like go build logic XYZ on application A or whatever. Like, I don't know, go update the website to search for bananas or something. I don't know. Versus go build some kind of infrastructure thing over here that has nothing to do with your day job, but then you have to support it. So yeah. Well, and even too, what we saw where like shifting to say, hey, like, and like there was this kind of shift in the industry where like public cloud became like really started, kind of like, like I think this term is now probably out of date, but at one point in the industry, everything was cloud first, right? Like we're going to be cloud first, and all the cloud, selling everybody and getting all these big centers of excellence at cloud first. And then you get to that and you're like, well, yeah, and then the traditional IT team's like, all right, well, we're going to give the devs the keys to the cloud. And they're like, great. But then like, but we're not going to patch whatever you spin up in that resource group. And you have to go talk to the CISO about running that data type in that public SaaS service that's on the public internet now, because that's the only way that service runs in that cloud provider. You have to, here's like, here's the 200-page run book of getting that through the gauntlet. Good luck. We'll see in a year when you're still trying to get approval to even run that type of thing. I think that's where a lot of benefits of a platform team in general come into play. Just taking that all off the table for most folks and just having that stamped out and ready to go.
Well, I mean, and think of your actual, your zone story, right? That was one of the benefits. We see a lot of, public sector companies that have, authority to operate, they choose TaaS for exactly that reason. Every time that they release an application, it's got to go through this process to get authority to operate and make sure that all the boxes are checked. Well, that's where a platform comes in. You check the boxes on the platform. Now, any application that goes on that platform are automatically covered generally. And I won't say that, 100% of the time, but that's why we get a lot of public sector companies that come in and they want to, government type companies that want to come in and do the platform, is because it eases that burden. Now their application teams don't have to worry about, am I checking all the wrong boxes? Am I making sure I get my ATO right? I'll throw it on the platform. Now, I'm going to throw up a comment from DMZ here. Yeah, it was part of the dev's job. Even on a platform, they still got to understand that their application could potentially be a weak link here. They got to understand their dependencies. They got to be updating their code to make sure that CVEs aren't present. But we can, that process of getting things out there is eased by using the platform. Again, making the developers, or I shouldn't say letting the developers go back to, all I worry about is code. That's a huge thing because, if you're hired to develop stuff, but you spend, 40% of your time on things not related to development, your code's going to suffer. Your applications are going to suffer.
And I apologize if I gave the impression that, devs didn't need to worry about those parts of their job. I think they definitely do need to still worry about those parts of their job. It's just, they also don't need to worry about how to learn how to deploy things to a random service XYZ, or figure out how to Kubernetes manifest works or that type of thing.
Or integrate in with any of the projects that they want to use, right? If it's out there on the platform, it's pretty easy.
How to use an ingress controller or certificate or
certificates. Talking to somebody today. It's either DNS, it's certificates, or it's firewall or networking, right? It's always one of those three problems. And again, that's a great point. The fact that the platform manages most of your certificates for you takes that burden off and makes things easier, right? Should always
Yeah.
highlight certificates. I hate certificates, the bane of my existence. Now you've made me angry.
Oh no,
Just thinking about certificates just makes me want to punch a wall.
Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, like, man, that chat is wild today. But we're gonna have to have a separate episode, definitely on CrowdStrike, and maybe I don't know, we need maybe Keith, Mark, and DMC in a room here because there's like a whole nother side chat going on in chat. I love it.
That has nothing to do with what we're talking about today.
Yeah,
they just went off on CrowdStrike and security.
And we brought it up. I guess it's our fault.
Right.
But,
you're right.
We should. I really like what's going on there, so I think we have some new episodes planned already. So folks in chat, we're gonna be pinging you here. But let's see here.
And we'll be able to bring Keith on. We need to get Keith on. We'll be able to bring Keith on. He hasn't been on the show yet. Findsy, DMZ, they're regulars, but you can get Keith.
We have like a security breakdown. We have a group panel discuss security related things. And
here's my worry, Nick. We run this show. We get those three on. We may just have to take ourselves off the stage and just let them run.
It may
pop
be
in every once in a while to needle somebody and get them started again.
It may be the time where I show up 15 minutes late. I don't know, instead of 15 seconds before it starts. But yes, I was gonna say something and then I got distracted. So let me. I started reading the chat. I was like, "Ooh, there's a lot." Thanks for everyone in the chat. Let's see here.
I was gonna. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I saw Keith's comment just fly up.
Yep. Oh no, we're just throwing it up there. That was kind of, he took everything that I said in 4,000 words and turned it into 6, 7. So that's what he's good at.
Yeah, I was gonna plug some more content that we have coming up around this topic too. Me and Nick are hosting a webinar, not next week, I think the following week on the 6th. And we're gonna be talking about this in more depth, plus what's new with Tanzu Platform for Cloud Foundry at Explore, all the good stuff. So we'll make sure to drop a link to that webinar there where you can hear from us again and sign up for that. It should be a good chat. And if you're going to Explore, Nick will be there, and Nikki, you guys are both going.
Yeah. So find us.
You'll be given a similar chat there too. Yeah.
However, if you do approach me at Explore, there's probably a good chance I'm running to my next session. So, but yes, I would. We would love to get interviews for anyone at Explore. I think we're going to attempt to try to do a live show somewhere there.
Do our best. There's gonna be some hustle and bustle, but how many sessions are you giving, Nick?
8.
Good, Nick. Really?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
All right.
So
wow. No
Nick's
wonder.
Gonna have to have. I was telling Nick he's gonna have to have a hologram of himself. Just pre-record your session and throw it up there, and it'll be hologram Nick giving you a session.
Or this straight IV of coffee or Monster or whatever your caffeine of choice is. You're going to be running.
I cannot do the energy drinks. The last time I could stomach those was in college, and then it got to a point where if I ever drink an energy drink again, I might die. So I can do coffee, but none of the every time I see a Monster or something, I'm like, oh, I can't.
They're intense.
Anyway, yeah.
Well, real quick, I mean, what's I'm guessing at least a couple of those are going to be GenAI sessions. I'm sure you're doing a what's new in Cloud Foundry. What else are you doing?
So what's new in TPCF? We've got we're doing a session with Datif, our one of our great TPCF customers, Jürgen Sussner. He's also Tanzu Vanguard. So he and I will be doing a session. Let's see here. We've got a tutorial session about the GenAI tile and all things goodness there. So if you don't learn how to go from zero to hero, I think that's what I titled it with GenAI TPCF. That will be a good session to attend. I should probably look at my I'm doing some 2 sessions with Deshaun. So actually, we were just meeting with him yesterday we got some really cool ideas about Spring AI and some of the work he's already done and plugging that into the platform. So hopefully we may have some. I don't want to give it away, but sounds like some pretty interesting demos to share there too. So there's Ask Me Anything sessions. We'll have booth demos at the Tanzu, the Tanzu Vanguard area, Tanzu area, a booth area, within the show. I know the Tanzu Vanguards are going to be there, so there's going to be a booth for those Tanzu Vanguards as well. If you want to meet up with them and talk to them and learn about the program. So there's a lot of stuff happening to explore. So keep your eyes peeled there for sure.
Yeah,
I'll be doing. Oh, go ahead, Mia.
We have a link to all those sessions and breakouts that we could throw into the chat there.
I've got the link for all the breakouts that I'm going to put in the after show notes. So, absolutely make sure you pay attention to the notes that we put after the show. There will be links in there to explore. There's going to be to the webinar that we just talked about, some facts that we put up on the show. So make sure you do that. So good counterpoint. Now's the time to hit the like and subscribe, right? We come out every Thursday. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. Part of me wants to do like you see on some of those shorts, like, do you love your children? If you do, hit subscribe. If you don't hit subscribe, you don't love your children. But we're not going to do that yet, but I want to really bad. But
do you love Cloud Foundry? Then you should like and subscribe.
That's right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
On the Explore topic, I'll be doing 3 sessions there. So I'll be doing one that's going to be a big panel discussion with a large customer that has done an immense scale. There's going to be another topic that I'll be doing with Corey Dinkins, where we're going to be comparing both Cloud Foundry and K8s. So what Tanzu Platform looks like and kind of doing a back and forth between the 2 runtimes. And then there's going to be a Meet the Experts that I'll be on. So if you don't see me at one of those shows, which if you don't come and see me at one of mine, I'll find you and I'll hunt you down. But if you don't come to one of the sessions, come by the booths. We'll be at the booths quite a bit too, and walking around and hopefully getting some more stories for Cloud Foundry Weekly. Do the little montage we've been talking about since Cloud Foundry days.
Oh, speaking of Cloud Foundry days,
you like how I teed that up for you?
Oh, you're on a roll. Almost this episode.
It's almost like we know what we're doing here.
Yeah. So we just got. I don't think the official schedule is live yet, but our CFP Cloud Foundry Weekly Live at CF Day Germany has been accepted. So, hopefully we can get all the appropriate funding for international travel to go and host this show again live from Germany. Yeah, I was going to attempt to say the city, but
I probably said it wrong. There's probably somebody over in Germany right now just cussing me because I just butchered the name. But
so excited about that. You'll get, obviously we'll keep you posted. But then too, if you're thinking about going to Cloud Foundry Day, you totally should. Heidelberg was a blast last year in Germany, and I suspect if it's anything like the turnout in Heidelberg, we will have a great show as well. So
we should mention it's not just me and you. Amelia is in that is slated to go as well. And Amelia is a huge, good friend of the show, and she is always fun to talk to. Her humor is something that cracks me up, but just the knowledge that Amelia brings to the table is immense.
Yeah, and we do have a Cloud Foundry user as well, and we may be expanding that a bit too. So again, and the same thing goes if you're joining the Cloud Foundry Days and want to talk to us. We'll get an interview with you, no problem. And if you want to join this show beforehand, reach out to us. We'd love to have you on the show.
Absolutely. Again, I do. If you're a customer and you're watching this show, you've done something that you think is incredible, let us know, because we would love to have you on the show. I don't think anything, this is going back to the ESG report, right? Nothing speaks louder than customer content, right? Customer telling their story. So if you're a customer, we'd love to get you on the show.
Okay. Well, let's see. We are pretty much out of time. Mia, any other topics, any closing thoughts that you want to add before we close?
No, just that we'll send out all the resources, the link to the report after this, the webinar, all the good stuff. And if you are a customer and would love to join the podcast, we are more than willing to chat with you about that too.
Yep. If you got questions, there's Mia's LinkedIn, go friend her, ask her questions. If you got questions, come talk to. Yeah, I like that. Go talk to me and Nick. We're always available as well. We got the Cloud Foundry website where you can look at the podcast if you want to just hear our voices and not see our faces. And we've got, the LinkedIn page and also the Twitter page. So make sure that you come in and look at all of those. And then I guess the last question is, I haven't looked at the schedule, Nick. I am behind this week. Is next week our security stories with DMZ, or is that the week after?
So we were talking to Findsy about coming back next week.
That's right. That's right.
And he did a pretty awesome Tanzu live, which is internal to Tanzu and Broadcom folks. But I kind of wanted him to distill that knowledge. I forgot what he called it. Mark, if you're watching still, you had a pretty clever title of 5. I don't know, hacks or tricks that you can do with Cloud Foundry, and he's got some pretty interesting stuff wired up. So we wanted him to come on. Now, however, it sounds like we also need to schedule a DMZ again, and maybe a whole security. Maybe in a couple of weeks we'll have a little bit more clarity of what actually happened with CrowdStrike.
Yeah.
And have a full here's the official report. Now let's all break it down type of thing. But
DMZ, we're not pushing you to put Findsy on. We're giving you more time to come up with better content about what CrowdStrike did to everyone.
I think I think we definitely have some pretty good episodes lined up already. And then soon enough it's going to be Explore time. So
We'll also put links to Explore, not only the sessions for Cloud Foundry and the tutorials, but we'll give you an Explore link. If you haven't signed up yet, go register. It's going to be a fun time. But all of that will be in the show notes.
Yep.
Cool.
All righty.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Look at this. Art wants to be our roadie.
Yes. Yeah. And Art's also Art and Keith are both on my team. So shout out for them. They like to watch and participate on a very frequent basis. So shout out to Art as well. Maybe we can have a Tanzu TMM sync up one of these sessions too. So I almost said Tanzu TNT, and I don't know if that doesn't really make any sense. But it's a new wrestling slogan or something. I don't know, but anyway.
I'm going to be interested to see. We're going beyond. We're way off topic today. This is what happens when you don't fully prepare. You just go on tangents. I want to be. I can't wait. We should do a TMM. I want to be in the middle of a bunch of marketing nerds and see what happens. See how I hold up in front of a bunch of marketing nerds.
I'm hurt. Yeah, nah.
Why are you hurt?
Nah, it'd be good,
dude.
So
there's a great shirt that I saw that I can't wait to get. It's Tattooed Nerd, right? Embrace your inner nerddom. That's what I'm going to do. That would be fun.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm right there with you.
Yeah. Tattooed Nerd. I have to put a link out to that. That guy's got some cool shirts.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
A day in the life of a TMM.
That's right.
We have a title.
I like it. We did it for the SCs. It's time to do it for marketing.
Yeah, that's true. Because especially before joining this role, I had no idea what any of the marketing stuff meant in terms of the different roles. And I think Kote's got a short of what's a tofu, all the funnel acronyms.
Mofu,
yeah. I was like, I remember the first meeting sitting that someone was talking about. I was like, what on earth are people talking about? It was lots of questions were happening. But anywho, I know what the tofus mean now. But cool.
We better end this, or we're gonna keep going off, and we're gonna start talking about fishing or something next. I don't know what's.
Yeah. Right. So I guess all right. We can do the
hold on. So Mia, thank you for joining.
Yes.
It was a great pleasure. I look forward to looking at the ESG report. We'll make sure that's in the show notes again. Everybody look down in the notes below. But really appreciate you coming on. Always fun talking to you, especially when we can do it in front of an audience.
Thank you, guys. Yep. Thanks for having me on.
All right, we ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. CF bye.
Bye.